Respect is one of those words we all want associated with us. We want to walk into a room and feel that others value our presence, our ideas, and our character. But respect doesn't come with a job title, a social status, or a loud demand. It is something deeper. It's not something we can insist on. It's something we attract by the way we live, the choices we make, and the consistency of who we are when no one is watching. Think of the people you respect most. Chances are, they never once asked you to respect them. They didn't need to. You simply gave it to them because their actions, their integrity, and their way of treating people left you no other option. Respect is a mirror. What you see in it reflects not what you ask of others, but how you show up for them and for yourself. The truth is, people can sense authenticity almost instantly. They know when you're genuine and when you're putting on a performance. Demanding respect is often a sign that there is none to begin with. It's like trying to force trust. Impossible. Trust and respect come from alignment when our words match our actions, when our values guide our decisions, and when our behavior consistently communicates who we are. Respect is often confused with fear or authority. A boss might think they are respected because their employees follow orders. But compliance born from fear is not respect, it's survival. True respect is voluntary. It's given freely when people admire the consistency of your character, when they feel safe in your presence, and when they believe that you are who you say you are. Every interaction we have with others is a chance to either earn or lose respect. When we show up late, when we make promises and don't keep them, when we cut someone off mid-sentence, we withdraw from that account. When we listen with full attention, when we admit mistakes, when we show kindness without expecting anything back, we make deposits. Over time, this balance determines whether people hold us in esteem or dismiss us silently. It's not about perfection. Nobody respects someone because they never fail. In fact, it's the opposite. We respect people because of how they handle failure. Do they blame others or do they take responsibility? Do they pretend nothing happened or do they own it openly? Vulnerability coupled with accountability earns more respect than flawless appearances ever could. Another layer to respect is consistency across contexts. It's easy to treat your boss politely, but how do you treat the waiter who brings your food? Do you act with the same kindness toward those who can't offer you anything in return? People notice, and those small moments reveal more about your character than grand speeches ever will. Respect is not a one-time achievement. It's something we build every single day, brick by brick, through small actions that compound over time. It doesn't announce itself with applause. Instead, it grows quietly in the background, until one day you realize that people listen when you speak, trust when you lead, and believe in you. Not because you demanded it, but because you earned it. Dishonesty is one of the quickest ways to lose respect, and often it begins in small ways. A little exaggeration here, a half-truth there. At first, it may seem harmless, something to smooth over a mistake or make ourselves look just a bit better. But what we often forget is that every lie, no matter how small, creates a crack in the foundation of trust. And once that foundation is weakened, respect begins to crumble. People don't lose respect for us because we made a mistake. They lose respect because we tried to cover it up. Mistakes make us human, but dishonesty makes us unreliable. A single untruth can undo years of credibility, because if someone catches us lying once, the question immediately becomes, what else are they not telling me? That seed of doubt grows quickly, and soon everything we say is under suspicion. Consider relationships, whether professional or personal. Trust is the currency that holds them together. When we say we'll deliver something by Friday and we don't, but instead of being upfront, we make an excuse. We're communicating that our reputation is worth less than the convenience of avoiding discomfort. And people notice. They may not call us out every time, but respect silently drains away with every dishonest moment. What makes dishonesty so destructive is that it doesn't just damage one interaction. It rewrites how people perceive us entirely. Someone who lies once is often remembered as untrustworthy. It becomes a label that sticks. In contrast, someone who admits their fault and faces the consequences may face short-term criticism, but in the long run, they gain admiration for their courage. The paradox is that we lie because we want to be respected. We want to look competent, confident, or impressive. But dishonesty achieves the opposite. Instead of elevating us, it diminishes us. It signals that we don't believe the truth is good enough, that we don't believe we are good enough. People respect strength, but they respect it most when it comes packaged with honesty about weakness. Small lies often grow into larger ones. Once we start, we're forced to protect the lie with another, and then another. Before long, the energy required to maintain the illusion drains us. Meanwhile, those around us see through it more than we realize. They may not confront us, but trust quietly evaporates, leaving behind only a thin layer of tolerance, never respect. Dishonesty doesn't always sound like a blatant lie. It can be leaving out key details, twisting the story to favor ourselves, or avoiding the truth when it's inconvenient. But people can sense when the whole picture is missing. And when they do, they stop seeing us as reliable. Respect is built on certainty, knowing that what we hear from you is what truly happened. When honesty becomes a habit, people don't just respect our words, they respect our character. Even if they don't agree with what we say, they believe it. And belief is the bedrock of respect. Without it, everything else collapses. Blame is the easiest escape route when things go wrong. It spares us from discomfort, from admitting fault, from facing the consequences of our actions. But while blame may provide momentary relief, it silently chips away at our credibility. Every time we point the finger elsewhere, people see us as less capable, less trustworthy, and less worthy of respect. Taking responsibility is not about being perfect, it's about owning imperfection. Everyone makes mistakes, but not everyone has the courage to admit them. The moment we choose blame over responsibility, we send a message: I care more about protecting my ego than I do about solving the problem. Respect cannot grow in that soil, because respect thrives where accountability lives. Think of leaders who inspire loyalty. They're not the ones who never make mistakes. They're the ones who say, this was my fault, and here's how I'll make it right. That level of ownership is rare, and precisely because it's rare, it earns admiration. People trust those who admit their failures because they know they'll also tell the truth about their successes. Blame also erodes relationships. In teams, when something goes wrong and the first reaction is to deflect fault onto someone else, trust fractures. The person blamed feels betrayed, the group feels divided, and the one who casts the blame loses credibility. Over time, people learn to distance themselves from blamers because no one wants to be the next scapegoat. Blaming others doesn't solve problems. It only prolongs them. Energy that could be spent fixing the issue is wasted defending reputations. Respect is given to the problem solvers, the ones who step up and say, here's what happened, and here's how we move forward. These are the people others want to follow because they demonstrate strength through accountability. The habit of blame often disguises itself as explanation. We say, it wasn't me, it was the situation, or I would have succeeded if only they had done their part. But deep down, people recognize the pattern. If everything is always someone else's fault, then nothing you do is truly dependable. Respect requires consistency, and consistency requires ownership. Ironically, blame weakens the very image we're trying to protect. We think shifting responsibility shields us from judgment, but in reality, it makes us look smaller. Owning up, on the other hand, makes us look larger. It shows resilience, confidence, and integrity, the very qualities that command respect without asking for it. In every failure, there is an opportunity either to shrink behind blame or to rise through responsibility. The choice we make in those moments defines how others see us. Respect doesn't come from never falling, it comes from standing up and saying, I fell, and I'll do better next time. Inconsistency is one of the fastest ways to lose credibility. People may forgive mistakes, but they rarely forgive unpredictability. When our words say one thing but our actions reveal another, the gap between the two becomes impossible to ignore. Respect is built on alignment, on the assurance that what we say today will match what we do tomorrow. Think about the leaders, friends, or colleagues you trust most. Chances are they're not flawless, but they are consistent. You know how they will respond in good times and in bad. You know that their promises carry weight because they've proven time and again that their actions will follow. Inconsistency robs us of that reliability, leaving people unsure of who we really are. When we shift our behavior depending on who's watching or what's convenient, people stop believing in our integrity. It signals that we're more interested in appearances than principles. And while appearances can attract attention, only principles earn respect. A person who constantly changes their stance is like a moving target. You can't build trust in something that won't stay still. Inconsistency doesn't always show up in dramatic ways. Sometimes it's subtle, saying we value punctuality, but arriving late, promising to listen but interrupting, declaring honesty while bending the truth. Each small misalignment chips away at respect. People don't measure us by what we say once, they measure us by what we do repeatedly. Respect thrives on predictability. It doesn't mean we never change or grow. It means that when we change, we do so openly and honestly. Inconsistency, on the other hand, breeds suspicion. It leaves people questioning our motives, wondering if our values are real or just convenient slogans. Once that doubt sets in, it's difficult to reverse. Consistency requires discipline. It's easy to make commitments in the moment, but much harder to uphold them day after day. Yet that discipline is precisely what earns admiration. People don't respect those who are occasionally great. They respect those who are consistently dependable. Reliability may not sound glamorous, but it's what turns promises into trust. When our actions match our words, people feel safe investing their trust in us. They know what to expect. They know that even if we stumble, we will stumble in a way that's aligned with our values. That kind of consistency creates stability, and stability invites respect. Without it, people may still listen to us, but they won't believe us. Every time we align words with actions, we reinforce the message, you can count on me. Every time we don't, we send the opposite message, believe me at your own risk. Respect isn't given to those who sound convincing, it's given to those whose actions prove they mean what they say. Time is the most valuable resource any of us have. Unlike money, it cannot be earned back once it's spent. When we are late, unprepared, or dismissive of someone else's schedule, we are not simply disorganized. We are sending a signal that we do not value their time. And when people feel their time isn't valued, they begin to feel they aren't valued either. Punctuality may seem like a small detail, but it carries a bigger message. Arriving late tells others, "My schedule matters more than yours." Canceling last minute or showing up unprepared communicates, "I didn't care enough to make the effort." These small actions may feel insignificant in the moment, but over time, they accumulate into a pattern that erodes respect. Think of how you feel when someone wastes your time. Maybe they keep you waiting, or they show up without having done their part of the work. Frustration builds, but beneath the frustration is something deeper, a sense of being disrespected. Because respect is not just about words, it's about showing consideration for the things people value, and nothing is valued more universally than time. When we treat time carelessly, it doesn't only harm relationships, it also damages our reputation. People begin to see us as unreliable, as someone they cannot count on when it matters most. And once that impression is formed, it's incredibly difficult to reverse. Respect requires trust, and trust requires confidence that we will honor commitments not only in what we say but in how we manage time. Respecting time is also about preparation. Walking into a meeting without doing the necessary work is another form of lateness. It wastes not only our time but everyone else's. Preparation signals respect. It says, "I value this opportunity enough to give it my best." Disrespecting time by being careless or unprepared says the opposite. There's also the question of presence. We may arrive on time physically, but if we spend the entire conversation checking our phone or multitasking, we are still disrespecting time. Because what people want is not just our body in the room, but our full attention. Respecting time means recognizing that the moment we share with someone is an investment, and investments deserve focus. The irony is that we often disrespect time unintentionally. We think being a few minutes late doesn't matter, or that we can catch up with preparation later. But people notice. They notice who consistently shows up on time, who consistently comes prepared, and who consistently treats their schedule with respect. Those are the people they begin to admire, because respect grows out of reliability. When we respect time, our own and others, we communicate that we understand its value. We prove that we see others as worthy of our best effort, our punctuality, and our attention. Over time, those habits build a reputation of reliability, and reliability is one of the strongest foundations of respect. We live in a world where everyone wants to be heard, but far fewer are willing to listen. Speaking comes easily. We want to share our opinions, our experiences, our knowledge. But when speaking dominates listening, we unintentionally communicate that what we have to say is more important than what others have to share. And nothing erodes respect faster than making people feel invisible. True respect is not measured by how much people listen to us, but by how much they feel heard when they are with us. When someone speaks and we interrupt or rush to respond, or prepare our reply instead of fully absorbing their words, we reduce their voice to background noise. Over time, people begin to withdraw, not because they lack something to say, but because they sense we are not truly listening. Listening is not passive, it's active. It requires effort to silence our inner voice and focus entirely on the person in front of us. It requires curiosity instead of judgment, patience instead of rushing. People respect those who listen deeply because it makes them feel valued. They walk away thinking, that person really understood me. And that feeling creates a bond no amount of talking can replace. When we speak more than we listen, conversations become monologues. They turn into platforms for self-promotion rather than opportunities for connection. Preaching at people rarely changes their minds, listening to them often does. Respect grows when people feel that their perspectives matter, even if we don't agree with them. Some of the most respected leaders are not the ones who give the longest speeches, but the ones who ask the most thoughtful questions. They create space for others to speak, and by doing so, they communicate, your voice is important. That act alone fosters trust. It builds loyalty. Because when people feel heard, they are far more willing to listen in return. Listening also reveals what speaking hides. When we dominate conversations with our own words, we miss the chance to understand what others are really thinking or feeling. Respect comes from insight, and insight comes from listening. The more we listen, the more people sense that we care, and care is the foundation of influence. Ironically, speaking too much often weakens our words. When we constantly fill the air, people begin to tune us out. But when we listen first and speak sparingly, our words carry greater weight. They are respected because they are rare, thoughtful, and responsive, not rushed or reactive. Silence, when used with intention, can be more powerful than speech. Respect does not grow in one-way conversations. It grows in dialogue, where listening and speaking are balanced, where people walk away feeling not only that they heard us, but that we heard them. The moment others feel truly understood is the moment they begin to respect us in return. Respect is not earned in a single moment. It's built through a series of small, repeated actions. Every interaction we have with someone either adds to or takes away from the balance of respect they hold for us. Like a bank account, these deposits and withdrawals accumulate over time, shaping whether people trust us, admire us, or quietly distance themselves from us. Small acts carry more weight than we realize. A kind word, keeping a promise, arriving on time, listening fully. These are not grand gestures, but they are consistent deposits into the respect account. Conversely, breaking commitments, ignoring someone, or dismissing their efforts may seem minor in isolation, but each one is a withdrawal. Over time, the pattern becomes undeniable. What makes respect powerful is its compounding nature. A single positive action might not earn someone lasting respect, but repeated over weeks, months, and years, it creates a reputation that feels unshackable. Just like financial wealth grows through steady investment, respect grows through steady consistency. People don't respect us because of what we do once. They respect us because of what we do repeatedly. The same is true in reverse. Withdrawals add up faster than we think. A history of reliability can be overshadowed by one pattern of carelessness. That's why respect feels fragile. It takes time to build but can be lost quickly. People rarely announce it when respect is gone. They simply stop listening, stop following, and stop believing. Every choice, no matter how small, communicates something about our character. Holding the door for someone, giving credit where it's due, acknowledging mistakes. These choices add deposits. Cutting corners, speaking over people, or failing to follow through take them away. Whether we notice it or not, others are constantly keeping score. Respect compounding also means that our behavior in unnoticed moments matters just as much as in public ones. People are quick to notice patterns. How we treat someone when no recognition is at stake, how we respond when things don't go our way, how consistent we are when circumstances shift. Those quiet moments often carry the heaviest weight because they reveal who we truly are. This is why building respect requires patience. Just like financial investments, we don't see immediate returns. It may take months or years before the pattern of deposits earns us the kind of credibility that commands attention. But once built, the compounding effect makes it incredibly powerful. People will trust us before we even speak because our past has already spoken for us. The metaphor of a respect bank account reminds us that respect is not free and it's not fixed. It is earned transaction by transaction through intentional actions that either add value to others or diminish it. And whether we are aware of it or not, every day we are either making deposits or withdrawals. Many people spend their lives chasing respect. They try to demand it, force it, or manipulate others into giving it. But respect doesn't work that way. It cannot be chased, only attracted. And the paradox is that the harder we try to demand it, the further it slips away. Respect begins to flow naturally when we remove the habits that silently block it. When dishonesty is replaced with honesty, people stop questioning our motives. They no longer wonder whether we are hiding something because they can see that we are willing to face the truth. That transparency builds trust, and trust lays the foundation for respect. Without effort, our reputation begins to shift from unreliable to dependable. When blame is replaced with responsibility, people see courage. They notice that we are willing to carry the weight of our actions instead of pushing it onto others. That willingness to own mistakes earns admiration because it proves integrity. People don't respect those who run from failure. They respect those who face it and grow from it. When inconsistency is replaced with alignment, people begin to believe in us. Our words match our actions, our promises match our follow-through, and our values remain steady no matter who is watching. That kind of stability is rare, and because it is rare, it becomes magnetic. People lean toward those they can predict because predictability feels safe. When disrespect for time is replaced with respect for it, others feel valued. They notice our punctuality, our preparation, and our presence. They see that we care enough to show up fully, and that care earns quiet respect. Respect grows in the small details of how we treat moments, because moments are how people measure importance. When constant speaking is replaced with intentional listening, people feel seen. They recognize that their thoughts matter, their voices matter, and their presence matters. That feeling of being understood creates connection, and connection fosters respect. We don't have to insist on being heard because people naturally want to listen to those who first listen to them. As these habits shift, respect begins to compound without effort. Each day adds deposits, each action reinforces credibility, and each moment of integrity strengthens the account. Over time, we no longer find ourselves striving to be respected. We simply notice that people trust us, value us, and believe in us without being asked. The transformation is not about adding something new, but removing what gets in the way. By letting go of dishonesty, blame, inconsistency, time neglect, and constant self-expression, we create space for authenticity, responsibility, reliability, presence, and connection. And in that space, respect is no longer something to chase. It becomes something we naturally receive.